Yo, what's up guys? How is everyone doing? Guys, today's stream is gonna be a more interesting one, alright? I've got some stuff to talk about. Of course, with regards to Bitcoin's price action, this was expected. If you guys watched our stream yesterday, I did mention that we were still within this downtrend channel. Some people were in denial about that. I'm not too sure why. And of course, we had this rising wedge breakdown, and we broke down out of it pretty, strongly. I mean, this is a dump stronger than I expected today. Obviously, I did see us going down lower to 72, and then next stop being 68. And of course, I called that in Telegram as well. Thomas, Joe, and Daily Crypto Brad, welcome to the stream, guys. Great to see you here. This is a dump I anticipated, but I didn't think it would be this big today. I would have expected maybe 7,200, a little bit of consolidation, and then if the bears really want to push it, we could dip down to 68. The distinction here is, let me hide these Bollinger Bands here and put my volume profile indicator on. And let's zoom out here. Wait for this to load, and what you can see is, we had a lot of volume action here, but, once we dip to about 7,200, really that volume action dies down. So what this tells you is how much Bitcoin is being traded at this price point. So, it's very clear when we get above, 9,000, there's very little volume compared to where we are now, and that means it's easier to break these levels, 11,600 and above, and there's basically no volume traded, which just means that it's easier to break above these lines. Of course, when we go down, it's the same case. It's easier to break those lines and go even lower because there's limited volume support at those levels. Guys, as I go on, make sure you drop your questions here, but that's just an explanation of the price action that I think we've been seeing. I think we can absolutely go below 6,000 when you have whales that have 90,000 Bitcoin. They can do whatever they want. So yeah, I'm glad you brought that up. This is with regards to the news about Huobi. There was one Asian whale. I think this is like an anonymous, like scary word thing that people are getting frightened of. He sent, what was it, like 8,000 Bitcoin to Huobi. Look, guys, this kind of thing happens all the time. This is nothing to be concerned about. It just seems like at the moment, everyone wants to find something to be scared about because, the stalemate we've been having hasn't been great, and especially on low volume, any negative news can really drive the price down quite a lot. And it's with regards to that, I want to go to this video. So guys, I'm sure all of you have seen this by now. It's a video where I outline why I think we're going pretty bullish very, very soon. And, overall, the response has been great. I mean, I really appreciate that you guys have learned something from this video. It's, as a newbie to cryptocurrency, I learned a lot from this video. Great insights. This is exactly the kind of thing I love hearing, because this is the help I would have needed when I started out. But, I made a mistake in this video. And see, what I did here is, obviously, I surround myself with very successful traders who aren't extremely emotional in this game. And I think that might have been the mistake I made here, because by doing that, I then assumed that everyone else was rational and wouldn't panic and wouldn't cry at a $200 price move or a $500 price move. So I saw one comment, it's a new one, I can't find it here, but basically, I uploaded this video, what was it, 7th of June, today is the 10th, and we've seen this big dump. So obviously, me being super bullish and and Bitcoin going down, a lot of people really missed the point, and what they actually said in response was, you made a bullish video and now Bitcoin has gone down, isn't that funny? You missed the point, mate. The point of the video was the general trend, and of course in my live streams where I talk about more short and mid-term price action, I'm talking about what's going to happen in the future. And guys, the difference, you got to bear in mind, people, okay, you're holding Bitcoin, you're losing fiat value. I think what people tend to forget is, Crypto Kirby said this really well. I've learned so much from him. Bulls make money, bears make money, and pigs get slaughtered. That's exactly what Crypto Kirby said. If you guys haven't seen him, you need to check him out after this stream. And it's a very simple concept. Bulls make money, alright? They drive the price up and they sell high. Bears also make money, though, because they short Bitcoin. They might be shorting it at, I don't know, 10 times leverage, and going down from 7,700 to where we are right now, 6,700 at 10 times leverage would be huge profits, and meanwhile they'd be making those huge profits, and it's not a hard thing to do. Obviously the signs were very clear, like I mentioned in last video. We were in this dominant, we were in this downtrend. Whether it's dominant or not is up to you to decide, but the trend, in my opinion, was pretty clear. And of course, if you are decisive, if you're ready to make money all the time, bears will make money from that. So there's nothing wrong with prices going down, I think. Do you see Ethereum pulling up this summer, or is there some concern with regard to EOS and how much Ethereum they're still holding from the ICO? Good question. Yeah, again, same thing with these wallet issues. I don't think that news like EOS potentially dumping a lot of Ethereum is really going to influence the market. These guys know if they were to, dump a huge amount of Ethereum, they would crash the market, and that would be illegal. So you're not really supposed to do that kind of thing. It comes under market manipulation. But even then, there are extremely big bag holders of coins like Bitcoin, Ripple, Bitcoin Cash, obviously, Litecoin, Cardano, all these coins, literally every single one of them. I don't think it makes sense to be worried about price action if people decide to dump. As for Ethereum pulling up this summer, absolutely. $534 now compared to its all-time high at 1,400. I can see this really going quite well, especially if, I've been against it, but if it turns out that Bitcoin gets left behind and everything else rises really nicely, I don't see it happening, but if it does, Ethereum will undoubtedly be leading the way forward in terms of one of the big three that actually do really well. Steve Crypto Kirby got banned. Yes, he did, but it was for a very bad reason, and he's got a new channel now, so you can search him up. Where's Kirby been? He got flagged off YouTube. Yeah, just answered that. I like yeah. Stop saying these useless cliches, everyone. Well, thing is, this is what I assumed, right? Back with this video, I assumed that everyone would have known these things. That a short-term trend doesn't determine the larger trend, and one day of price action doesn't mean that we're suddenly not. The fundamentals that I went over suddenly don't apply at all. This is thing that caught me off guard. These are things that caught me off guard. But, in the crypto community, you get people who have never experienced price movements before, and I guess I realized that on the way down, these people must have been bag holdings from 17k down to where we are right now, 6,700, and obviously they've made stupid decisions, and now they can't really face them, so they just end up doing, making stupid trading decisions. I'm still a hodler. Yeah, I mean, hodling is, it hasn't worked for 6 months. It's not a, it's not a good financial strategy, but it's a good Bitcoin strategy, and Bitcoin doesn't really stick to the financial norms, and because of that, I think bag holding is just fine. I'm going to go over price action in just a minute when we go below, if we go below 6,000. I just want to look at these comments. The key is figuring out where it's going before. Absolutely, yeah. I mean, that's why we're here, right? We're looking at the trend right now to make profits from it. Whether we long, short Bitcoin, trade alts when Bitcoin looks ready to stagnate or whatever. I think the price holding stable for a couple of days it absolutely was market manipulation, but it was also little volume and little interest in the market, so we didn't really get any major news about Bitcoin for a while, and so it just stayed stable, especially on this low volume. Nothing's really going to happen. Bulls and bears were in a stalemate. The market shouldn't have fallen, but the bulls were holding it up. The manipulation overtook the bulls, thus the drop. Do you think big players are buying Bitcoin over the disk? You mean over the counter, and that's why it doesn't show? Yes, that is why it's not showing on the volume. You only think Kirby sucks? I didn't say he sucks. I think he's... I've learned the most from him than anyone else, so I think he's absolutely amazing. All he does... Okay, let's not bash on Kirby now. From 7,000... Man, we are experiencing price movements for the last 6 months. It just gets from bad to worst. Yes, it does, but I really like that you brought that up. Let's go to VIP hair, because it's not something I put in. It's not something I put in gold hair. This is where I think. All right, so here's the caption. I've been paying a lot of attention to sentiment in recent days, and this is where I firmly believe we are heading into. This is the first time I've ever shown you guys my Telegram channel, so that feels kind of weird. But yeah, so obviously this Wall Street cheat sheet, going down and having fun writing it down to 6,000, and then our trend has been slightly different to this. This implies a complete death of a stock, but Bitcoin's chart has negated that completely now. And what I think we're heading into, right, is this disbelief rally. So actually, it was before we started, about hair, when we bounced off, the RSI was at 30, everyone expected this bounce. I thought that we were actually going full bull, so I was of the opinion that most people had. Obviously, later I got that reality check, and I was like, yeah, okay, but we're still in this downtrend, and sentiment isn't good enough to carry us forward. I did think that this was the disbelief rally, but I think the disbelief rally is coming now. I don't know when it is, but it looks pretty clear to me when we look at sentiment right now that even if we do climb to maybe 11.6, people are going to be rushing to sell their Bitcoin one final time because they're done with the market. And it's exactly when they do that, the hardest hodlers, when they sell, that's when we're going to be ready to rocket back up. And it takes extreme strength not to do that. I think everyone's going to make that mistake once. If you don't, you're amazing. I mean, I even made that mistake back in July 2017. So it's very easy to, but I think once it happens, one final shakeout, which I think we are close to, judging by this trend, it's gonna send us back to the moon. Okay, so I want to go over the price action now, because this was actually the point of the stream here, and we have seen a pretty steep dip, and I've got this blue rectangle here, so this is an area for a triple bottom to play out. At the moment, guys, it's not looking great, of course, but that's always the case when we have a massive red day like this. I mean, this is as big as when we had that pump on April 12th, so that's a pretty big deal. It's just less people are in the market to talk about it right now. We've got this rectangle area, so of course Bitcoin could bottom out at any of these areas. The 7,200 line of support absolutely just was useless. It's like it wasn't even there. And so it looks like, we're already within this rectangle. Bitcoin can bounce up anywhere here. It's hard to call the bottom. There are some key levels to take note of, though, so I'm going to mark them with horizontal lines. We've got 6,800, which is... we've already broken. We're below 6,800 now. We've got 6,400. Where's that? About here. So this is where we saw Bitcoin bouncing off in April or April/March. So that's also a key level. It's, if 6,400 breaks, we're looking at 5,950, which is at the bottom of this rectangle. But really, if we go down that low, I do expect Bitcoin to dip even to the low 5,000s, just because there's not enough sentiment to buy the markets and get a V-shaped correction like we did last time. I just don't see it happening this time around, if we do go that low. So that would be pretty bloody. But I don't even think we're going that low. I mean, let's look at the RSI here. We're exactly at 30. Let me get the reading for the RSI. So 29.9897. So yeah, nearly exactly at 30 here. A little bit oversold, in fact. This would make much more sense as being the bottom, because there are still some people who thought, okay, I'm gonna wait for it to go a little bit lower to buy more Bitcoin and then join in with the next rally. There were so many people who've been saying that this is their opportunity, and the people who say that are typically the action takers as well. So when it goes this low, they're not going to shy away like a lot of the people in this comment section might have done. They would actually be buying at these levels, and that's, these are good levels to be buying at. It's still a bit risky, like I said, because if it does carry us down, if we close over here and then we have another bloody day, that is going to be extremely bad news, and I might even have to reevaluate this video. Maybe. It's a very slim maybe. I mean, I've never felt more sure about price action than I do right now. but it's something to take note of as well. So I'm sorry I've missed a lot of these messages here. Support seems to be holding at 67.50. Yeah, so I mean, it's a relative area, the 6,800 line. It could be, $50 up or down. And if this support level is holding and the RSI is exactly at 30, it wouldn't surprise me that this is the bottom. But of course, we need to keep our minds open. We can't just shy away from what may actually be happening. Clean up that disk. Yeah, I need to, but I think this is only like 256 gigabytes, so I was like, when I bought it, I was like, I'm not gonna need more than this, but alas, I do. 1 million silence for yes holders. I doubt 6,000 is even a bottom. 3-month RSI is 26. Oh, that's interesting. Let me look at that. Never considered a 3-month. It's not at 26. What are you talking about? I must be looking at the wrong thing, but yeah, the 3-month RSI, I mean, the 3-month chart isn't a good look, so let's go back to the daily here. Just loaded up my bags a few hours ago, and then feel really good about it. Yeah, I mean, look, if you've bought hair, you're doing something right, I think, because, if you've been watching it, if you've been watching this rising wedge, and then it breaking down, you're now being rewarded with better prices to enter Bitcoin. And of course, like I mentioned earlier in this stream, bulls make money, bears make money, and pigs get slaughtered. So pigs are the people who will just hold. I mean, holding it, there's nothing wrong with it as long as you do just hold. If you just hold from 20,000 to 6,000 and you sell at 6,000 because the pain is too much, you're not holding right. You are not holding. You've sold. So if you can hodl correctly, which means to hodl and not sell, even when the prices get pretty bad, the bounce back is obviously going to happen, not financial advice. I don't know why I have to make this disclaimer, but, I do just to be safe anyway. But, yeah, you will be rewarded if you've been waiting for these entries here. 3-month RSI on CoinG shows 26. I have no idea. Maybe that's for a different chart or different RSI settings. 5,000, here we come. Yeah, no, I don't think we're going down to 5,000 though. Look, like I said, the only way I see us going below maybe 6,000 or 6,400 is if we have another red day. So, we could have something like here back at the end of March. We had a massive red candle followed by another red candle that was smaller. And that went down for a little bit more as well. That could play out over here. But, past performance doesn't indicate future results, especially something like this. This was a massive anomaly for Bitcoin's price action. Obviously, it's all market manipulation right now. It's pretty disgusting. It's hard to tell what's going on. But it's not going to go that low today. That's a definite. And, whether it happens tomorrow is a different case to argue, and it's really hard to say. The only thing to note here is, guys, if you are trading this, and there's absolutely nothing wrong, you can make a lot of money shorting and longing Bitcoin in this area. If you are playing this, though, you need to be acutely aware of what's happening, all right? You need to have like 20 different alerts for $50 price movements, so you know exactly what's going on, because, if you're going long or short, you can get liquidated very easily in this kind of a trend. So you need to know exactly when the reversal happens, and be ready for that to jump in, and maybe close your shorts or whatever. 2020 next Bitcoin halving equals next real bull run. Yeah, I mean that seems like a good logic to me. 2 years is a long time though. It's only like 1.5 though now, but yeah, if we're looking that far, I mean, the issue with that is it's 1.5 year, and what can happen to crypto in 1.5 year? 1 year ago, Bitcoin was what, like 2,000 or something? I forgot, but 1 year can do a lot. Even 6 months can do a lot. So I've been hesitant on talking about 2020, just because it's way too unpredictable to talk about that. How about Litecoin? Yeah, I mean, look, Litecoin is going to follow the same trend as Bitcoin, because it's one of the big three. What it does, it's like Bitcoin's cousin. So at the very basis, it's going to imitate what Bitcoin does. The difference here is that it ran out of sync with Bitcoin. So it reached its all-time high of $420. That's a good number. Congratulations on that Litecoin, what the hell? 12th of December. And since then, it's followed a similar trend to Bitcoin, but with less crazy price movements. And the deal with Litecoin here, okay, just looking at this here as well, $105. This is its final support. So if it drops lower than this, it's looking pretty bleak for Litecoin. But this kind of, Litecoin, especially Neo coins like this, they are going to run in their own time when their time is right. And so it's really hard to predict. It's one of those coins where if you want to hold it, you will probably get really good returns, but it's just not going to happen when you anticipate. And because of that, you might get discouraged and you might want to sell, one day before the bull run starts. And a Litecoin bull run, we saw, I mean, this is insane, going up to $420 from 100. And this was in the space of, like 5 days? That was pretty crazy. And that's the kind of thing that you don't want to miss out on. It's just that it's hard to get in the first place because it takes so long to happen. Can I talk about Tron? I would prefer not to. Let's see where Tron's at, though. I mean, this is a coin I've been trading, so don't need to insult Tron like that. Where is it? Can't find it. I'm getting this notification again. I mean, overall, let's look at this market cap before we touch on Tron here. I mean, we're at 296 billion. It was at, 330 or 40 yesterday. So, this is a big drop, that's tens of billions of dollars leaving in one day. And of course, our volume was only 12.5 billion as well. So we've added now an extra 5.5, maybe $6 billion of volume in 24 hours. Bitcoin dominance up, so alts are being liquidated. And that brings us over to Tron because it's minus 18% today against the dollar and minus 8% against the against Bitcoin's price. And this is really crucial to note. So I'm going to use Tron as an example for the rest of the crypto market here. It's 8% down from Bitcoin, but Bitcoin is down 11%. So, of course, that's why we saw 18% on Tron. And this is the reason that alts are really dangerous in these kinds of times because, alts will range and go up harder than Bitcoin some of the time, but they will also, dip a lot harder than Bitcoin. So if you're holding any of these alts, let's take Waves, for example, you've already endured the USD value loss in Bitcoin, which is 11%, because you're holding Waves. Waves is traded against Bitcoin. Let's go back to Waves now. And now you've also suffered a further 3.5% decline on Bitcoin's price. And so, the holding any alt here is really risky stuff, which is why in VIP we've been really focusing on staying with a high Bitcoin allocation. I mean, mine is above 80 or 90%. I'm not getting wrecked by this, apart from by the USD value falling. But of course, like I mentioned, that's just going to go back up anyway. So this is the kind of thing where you want to be protecting what you have, and alts, I get you might love them, right? We form an affinity with alts no one else would understand. It's like cars or watches, but you've got to be able to say, all right, I love these alts, but I love my money a little bit more. So that's my stance on it. How can you freeze your dollar when Bitcoin goes down? I think you mean hedge. That's a good question. I mean, one way to hedge is just shorting Bitcoin. So let's go back to Bitcoin here. You could have just shorted it from 77 to 67. I say you could have just. It's not like it's an easy thing to do. Like I said, we were still very neutral in these markets. So we could have easily broken 7,800 resistance because we were still working on very low volume. The order books were thin. It would have only taken one person to decide, but I want to send the market bull. And, with maybe $5 billion or whatever it would take, he can, or she can market buy and send us over 7,800 and we'd go full bull. Alternatively, what happened here is someone decided, no, we're going to go down, or maybe a group of people, or crypto in general, whatever the deal is. And so we went down and on very low volume. It's only high now because alts have been liquidated and Bitcoin is is obviously being sent down. I mean, $5.4 billion volume compared to what, like 3.5 yesterday or something like that. So obviously increased action here. This reflects a lot more interest in the market right now. I think there's going to be a lot of people buying here and anticipating a jump back up. But either way, I think it's a really risky area to be playing. So if you're not experienced, maybe you want to sit this one out and just hold it. I think that's what I would do, and in fact, that's what I'm doing anyway. I can definitely be trading these swings, but I just don't think it's worth it. I've made enough Bitcoin in recent weeks and days, longing and shorting it within these trends. And so I don't think it's worth risking it in the $6,000 area. I think it's just way too risky. I'm just going to take a few more last questions here and go over the alt market as well. So, like I mentioned, I've been saying I feel like I'm just repeating myself over and over, so I'm sorry for you guys who've been here for a while, but I'm still not opening alt positions. Our strategy to just wait for alts has worked out really well. There are some picks we've identified, and VIP, you've obviously got them. These are coins where I told you I'm still not going to be entering because I anticipated better entries, and these are the levels where I would feel confident buying. It's risky, but I mean, we look at the Bitcoin price. This is the Bitcoin. I forgot where it was. We're getting really good prices. I mean, Neo at what's that? 673,000 sats. Tron, below 700 sats. These are really good prices we've gotten now just by waiting, and we could see them bleed out a little bit more. I mean, it gets more risky here, so for a strategy, maybe if you want to enter alts right now, what I would do is go for maybe entering 50% of my position in each alt I was going to get into, and then entering the latter 50% maybe tomorrow if we dip even more. Or maybe even doing just 30% today, 30% tomorrow, and 30% when we get a confirmation of an uptrend, something like that. I think that would be a pretty good strategy to do. You gotta buy this blood. There are people who are hurting right now. They're feeling really upset with the trend. Unfortunately, they've had too much invested. Their emotions are getting the best of them. And so this is the time where you need to be buying their blood if you want to be successful in this. It's a pretty savage market, but we've already established that. You need to buy other people's tears and ride that up to the moon, and sell where you feel like it's comfortable as well. That's this is where people make money. There's a reason. Let's go back to this volume profile. There is a reason that there's a lot of trading at this area. I think this is kind of off. Yeah, so there's increased trading in this area. It's because there are opportunities being presented here. There's more interest here. I mean, I think it's very clear. There is so much opportunity right now. If you have the courage to take it, and if you don't, maybe trading isn't for you, because this is where you have to really step up and make some decisions. And it's not easy. It's a gamble. Well, I mean, it's not a gamble, but it's risky. We don't know what's going to happen, but this is where the real money is made. If you take advantage of things like this. That's my take on it, though. Don't screw your life over. What's your opinion on Omice Go? It was previously my favorite coin, but it's just dropped off a cliff. No one talks about it anymore. I mean, volume is 38 million. It may as well be a small cap, to be honest. Under $1 billion market cap. I mean, I just haven't heard from them for so long, so I don't know what's going on with Omice Go, but I love their concept anyway. I think they were one of the most advanced coins, and if they've still got the same connections they had back in maybe October, this is one that could run. But in the 2018 crypto market, I think something like Omice Go just isn't really gonna do too well. We're all about those new and shiny coins which we can get 5-10x pumps on, and Omice Go is definitely not one of those, unfortunately. I don't see support at 6,600, so this is in reply to the guy who bought at 6,600. I mean, yeah, there are some people questioning you on that decision, but anywhere, buying anywhere within this range, whether you buy 64 or 6,800, if we go back to 12,000, it doesn't really matter whether your entry was $200 up or down. And so I think you made a good decision to buy at 6,600. You know, even if you bought at 65 or 62 or 69, whatever, these are all good ranges to be buying, in my opinion. Where are the balls at? That was a good question. I wish I knew. Time to be on savage mode. Eat the pigs, ride the moon. Absolutely, Jack. Sorry, you are on it. You know, that's how you got to play these markets right now. We're in a bear market. Correction of Bitcoin is not over. The rest we saw was pump and dump. I mean, look, we're in a bear market. Correction of Bitcoin is not over. This is you know, the bear market. Of course, I agree. I'm sorry, guys. I agree that we're still in a bear market, but is the correction over? I mean, you know, I think we've seen the worst of it. Let me hide this indicator now. It's pretty annoying. I think we've seen the worst of it, but you know, you are of course free to disagree. But you know, I think the rest we saw was pump and dump. You know, this kind of mentality is not going to carry you through to making a lot of gains. You know, one thing I've noticed is that we get two really, you know, let's take Jack. I want to take Jack, for example. You've made a really good point here. I can't find your comment now, I'm sorry, but you know, it's the difference in mentality between taking this opportunity and profiting from it, or saying, you know, everything is miserable, everything is happening to me, and you know, life hates me and I'm losing money, and my wife hates me, she's cheating on me, and I can't afford to pay for my Prius anymore, stuff like that. This kind of mentality shows in your financial decisions, and you know, if you act like the victim all the time, you will feel like one and you'll become one. You know, what the energy you put out will manifest itself. So if you make yourself out to be the victim all the time, that's exactly the fate you're gonna suffer. So you got to be really careful with those things. But guys, you know, that is going to be me for today. I'm sorry I didn't get to answer all of your questions. I love your support. I mean, 217 viewers. I don't think I've ever had on a live stream, so that's pretty cool. Shout out to every single one of you guys, and of course, I'm always down to talk. So if you want to talk and ask me any questions, you know, there are a lot of questions I didn't get to here. Definitely hit me up on Telegram. In gold, you'll see my name at the end of a lot of my posts, and you can just click that and get in touch. That's the same me. The name is confusing. I might change it, but that's me for today, guys. You know, just to round it up again, I want to summarize what I've been talking about in terms of price action. We could go lower. If we do go lower, I only see it happening tomorrow. RSI is at 29.45 now, so this is the area where I expect to bounce. You know, we had the bounce, the big bounce on February the 6th, was it? Yeah, when the RSI, February the 5th, the RSI was about 30 as well. And then back in, what was it, April or May, it was 30 again when it bounced, or when it began to bounce. And right now we're at 30. Last time it bounced off at 30, and we're at 30 right now. So it's pretty clear to me where the price is headed. You know, if we continue to maintain this pattern of bouncing at a 30 RSI, it looks like it's going to happen right now, and we could even have a V-shaped correction like this one, which would be pretty nice. You know, the only thing to note of here is we don't want to move up in price too quickly, because that's, you know, we form the same trend that we did over here. When we rose slowly from 6,400 to a high of nearly 10,000, that's a much healthier trend than what we saw back in February. So that's my take on it. I would prefer some slower rising, but amazing opportunities in the market right now. You know, I had someone else message me who's a good friend of mine, and he said, you know, this looks like a time to be buying alts. I'm sorry I didn't get to reply to you yet, but yeah, I mean, this is the time you want to be getting into alts. I think if you feel bullish in this market. Of course, if you don't, then you know, you want to be selling everything or whatever. You know, put your money where your mouth is. But I think this is opportunity right now. I see this red and I see opportunity, and this is the mindset you guys need to adopt as well. But guys, that's me for today. I hope you have found something useful out of this stream. I'm feeling really good about this, honestly. You know, we're in the red, and I'm feeling good about it. And that's showing because I don't have too much invested in the market, and nor should you guys. But with that, yeah, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe if you're new around here. Of course, if you want to get notifications of my uploads, tick the bell as well. And if you're not already in the Telegram channel, it's in the description down below. That's where you get all of my posts, and I will see you guys in the next stream. Peace.